All right, welcome to episode 88.
Yes.
Cigar Hustlers Podcast.
So nervous.
Why are you nervous?
I'm not really. I'm just actually kind of tired and angry, and
You're irritable.
It's been a long fucking week. But you know, it's over now. Hopefully, we'll see. Should we introduce our guest?
Yes, please. Let's get right.
Right
let's
off the,
just
right
jump right into it. Since he's sitting here,
yeah.
we don't want to talk about him, and he's
I'm wearing the Justin Andrews outfit, by the way.
Oh, look at that! Oh, I didn't get
pulling it off a little better.
I didn't get the memo.
So go ahead.
He wears a size smaller just to make him look big.
This is a fucking XL, pal.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I got the
Did
tag
your
to
wife
prove
wash
it.
it in the hot water to shrink it?
Yeah,
up?
that's it.
Honey, shrink this shirt up.
Yeah. So who the hell are you?
You know, that's the question,
out front,
and that's the hashtag.
Yeah.
That good old Jack Tarano started. Who is JA? So one of these days, this is my 10th year in the industry, so maybe by year 20, you know, people actually know who I am.
Yeah.
Did you get to fire Jack by chance?
Wow.
They
right into the hard questions. Jesus.
Jump right in, because that would be funny.
No, I mean Jack reported to me, and which I enjoyed immensely.
Oh yeah.
But it kind of Jack and I both kind of knew it was coming.
Mm-hmm.
But the company also knows that Jack and I were pretty tight.
Yeah.
So I was I think for my own
Protection?
Deniability. I was kind of left in the dark, but I kept talking to Jack like, hey, you know, if I was a betting man, I think this is coming. So
I don't know. I got a podcast that says otherwise. He didn't have a fucking clue.
He came on like a week after. And
Yeah.
no idea.
Yeah, well, he had his little tour of media the week it happened, so his story changed a little bit, I think. But
Well, he was going to try and be here, but I guess he kind of fucked that up. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on, man.
I texted him.
It's been an odd week.
I said, "Where the hell are you?" He's like, "What do you mean?" I said, "Justin's here." He's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. He's in Miami, so or maybe he's just fucking with me and he's close. Who knows?
Oh,
yeah.
So
you
he's
know.
late? Oh, I hope he's late.
And then you're gonna give him a hard time.
Oh yeah. I was late for the last show that Jack did.
That's right.
And he's
right.
all
But you've heard about it now.
That's right.
So now Mike Palmer is always late.
That's right.
Always late.
Yeah. So you know what's kind of funny is I don't think a lot of people actually know who the hell you are.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't answer the question.
You know?
So Justin Andrews, I guess my corporate title would be Senior Brand Manager for Scandinavian Tobacco Group.
Right.
Which I don't use that one a whole lot.
Very
But
long.
That's a hell of a title.
yeah, so my day-to-day, I guess probably what consumes most of my time is brand management of Diesel.
Right.
So I manage the brand globally, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I also handle some of our contract manufacturing. So obviously we make cigars for a lot of people.
Right.
Across all three of our factories. So I spend a lot of time in Central and Latin America.
Yeah.
I also do part of our kind of like, you could call it a collaborative kind of department to where we make exclusive products for shops and other competitors and things like that. So, and when I'm not doing all of that, for whatever reason, I like to get out and travel and go see people and do events and do podcasts. So
Yeah. What the hell?
yeah. So this is that's pretty much what I do.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the
There you
day
go.
to day.
I'm going to break you. I'm going to make you comfortable here. Don't you worry. So I mean, the first time we met, we were in Esteli. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you're hanging out with a group of people, I think, and you're doing kind of a fucking tour and a little bit of work, and there was a crazy cat involved, right?
There was.
Some shit like that. Yeah. And then, of course, there's the particular night where Skip kind of holds court.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
he lets everybody know that he's the fucking man. And that he's
Type A
right,
just jumps out there.
right. Just kind of murder balls. Starts breaking down in fucking corporate terms and shit. I'm like, I don't know what any of this shit means, but I think it sounds good. So, yeah. So when you go to Esteli and stuff like that, is it only? Were you blending that time? Were you just kind of fucking around with some guys, just giving them a tour?
So that was actually a really good trip. So I was down there working on some stuff that's coming out in 2020.
Okay.
But it was right around the time where we were kind of finalizing production on Whiskey Row Sherry Cask.
Right.
And also Hair of the Dog. So I took a trip down there to meet with AJ, just kind of do some final quality control stuff, talk to him about 2020. And we looped in a group of guys from CI, all the new hires from like the Dallas store and all over. So they kind of looped me in down there to do a little Cigar 101 training with those guys.
Right.
So we take them to our factory, we take them to AJ's, we take them to Placencia. So yeah, that was a good trip. And I think the first night you came over to our consultant Alex Finson's house.
Yes, that's
we
his
sat
name.
in the
Yeah.
backyard with the leopard.
Yeah,
and,
that's it. Yeah, whatever
yeah.
the fucking cat. Well, I can't even think of the type of cat it is.
It's I always forget the name, but it's some sort of like miniature,
Right.
Is that
sphinx.
Mancoon?
No, but it's like,
It's got an odd name. It's
and it's super aggressive.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
good.
Yeah,
Not the best pet.
you can't pet it.
Yeah.
But you want to.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh,
man, I
wow.
don't know if I can. It's like, nope.
Beautiful cat, and you just can't touch
It just kind of sits there and paces, or just
So that was a good night. We sat
Yeah.
out there. They cooked. We had some rum. I think Skip got our former CFO a little wasted.
Well, he was. I mean, I was going to bring that up. I'm glad that you did. For one, former CFO, and for two, he was fucking hammered that night, and he was hammered at AJ's place
Yes.
as well. And that was the night where he went fucking really off the deep end, which was awesome for me and for Hector as well, because he was with me for
I'm sure.
from Espinosa. I mean, dude. This guy just fucking, if I was in charge, I'd do this. But what the fuck do I know? Like that would be the end of every sentence. And he probably doesn't remember any of it because he had to be at a level of blackout drunk.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
For
unfortunately,
sure.
that was his one and only trip to Nicaragua.
That's
and somehow,
too bad.
Oh, I wonder why.
somehow I got blamed for that. Because again, part of the reason he came down was he wanted to be a part of the Cigar 101 training.
Right.
The president of our company was like, "Oh, it'd be a good idea. Justin's there. You'll learn a lot."
Right.
He'll take care of you. Everything will be fine.
Yeah. And so then I get called in, to the padded room there.
Really?
Asking me what happened. And I'm like, this dude's the CFO.
Yeah.
In what world does he do
Can I tell him
anything
what
that
to
I
do?
say?
Right. He supersedes all.
Yeah.
Or at least the majority.
So, yeah. So that was, I like for my name to be mentioned, but not in those types of
Right,
conversations.
of course.
So that was.
I mean, what do you say to the guy? Whoa, whoa, whoa! You can't have any more. You need to settle down.
Yeah.
I mean, like that.
Yeah.
He'd look at you and be like, "Motherfucker, I'm a grown ass man.
Exactly.
And you're fired.
I can handle. You know what? When I get back to the office, we're going to talk about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would go over so fucking well.
So that was an interesting trip for you to.
Yeah.
Interesting time to be down there.
Yeah, because for me, I don't really care. So when he starts going off, I'll just fucking feed the flame. I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely, fuck that guy, and yeah. You know what? I don't know why they're not listening to you. Yeah, what the hell do you know? Tell me more. So I would just keep him going, and Hector's like, Jesus Christ, get me the hell out of here, man.
Just send a letter back right now.
Because Hector can be quiet sometimes, and. I don't know how he earned Mr. Warmth. I don't,
Yeah.
he's actually a really super nice fucking guy.
Yeah.
Crown Heads, Wes is definitely Mr. fucking Warmth.
Oh yeah.
Hands down, the fucking curmudgeon of the cigar industry. Super nice guy, but very, he's
Just
rough
dry,
on-
very dry
yeah,
sensitive.
yeah. I mean, he sent us a handle though, so that was nice.
I was with Hector in Buffalo. Was it last week or the week before? And he did pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I'd peek over every once in a while, and he was talking and laughing.
No shit.
So maybe he's coming around a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. We did an event here, and he kind of hit out front and stuff like that, which is pretty funny. Like he just doesn't get that vibe. But the more and more he becomes in the spotlight, the more people want to fucking talk to him.
That's
so,
right.
He's gonna have to start dealing with that shit,
that's right.
I mean, because I love Hector. I love bullshitting with him. If there's 20 people in the fucking room, I'm going to him to sit down and hang out. But only 20. If there's 25, I'm gonna find somebody else. So. All right, so sometimes I get sabotaged on these.
I told you that one's legit.
Just
All the information is
just
true.
for the record. So
If I can't find something about a guest, I'll just make it up.
Yeah, so I asked him if somebody was a car salesman.
That was Wes. That was Wes, actually.
And he's like, no, that's not
Like,
true.
no, I didn't sell cars.
All right, so you already answered that question. VP and Lou Rodriguez, 2009-2014 cigars. What's that?
Yeah. So that was my introduction into
Lou
the business.
No.
No. So Lou was I always talk past tense with him, but Lou's still around, alive and well.
Still alive.
A Cuban physician whose uncle, Gregorio Vasquez, owns a company in Nicaragua called G&G Cigars.
Okay.
So he used to make a lot of the overrun stuff for AJ. Used to make Burger and Argenti, the Mooch.
No shit.
Used to make King cigars. And so Lou got the idea one day. He's like, I've been smoking Padrones for 40 years. I should give this thing a shot, make my own cigar. And I interned with him as a junior in college.
No shit.
Come from a family of tobacco farmers, but cigarette and chewing tobacco.
Right.
So when I saw the Craigslist ad, I was like, I can do this.
So that was free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And literally thought cigarette tobacco was the same as cigar tobacco.
No shit.
Yeah, had no clue. Had never smoked a cigar before. This was in 2008. So yeah. Started
It's practically the same thing.
Yeah, so learned a lot.
Yeah, no shit.
Learned that I didn't know anything.
Right.
But for whatever reason, Lou he told me he had about 23 kids apply for the position.
No shit.
And
I thought you were telling me you had 23
Yeah, I
kids.
thought you said
No.
They don't have a TV or anything like that?
And an intern for something else.
So I don't know. Maybe it was my good looks or
Yeah.
charming personality that got me the gig. But yeah, did that. And
No shit.
man, that was God. It's funny. It seems like a lifetime ago, but
But it's a significant portion of your life. I mean,
sure.
I mean, at least 7 years, about 6 maybe.
Yeah, around 6.5. Yes. So started out as an unpaid intern, and six years later, we were 50-50 partners.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool. We
Did that end bad or?
no, it was good. We well, it didn't end good, but we ended on good terms.
Right.
He's a very, very wealthy doctor, and he owns a locums group, so he staffs ERs is his specialty up and
shit.
down the East Coast. So it was never about the money for him.
Right.
And as we started to grow, and at one point we were up to about 350 accounts.
That's a big deal.
Across the U.S. This was with no sales reps, no terms.
Right.
No nothing. We were like the poor man's Padron, basically.
Right.
And you're talking 2010, 2011, back when, before the San Andreas Mexican rapper, Nicaraguan binder filler.
Right.
He came out before Eric came out with Crema. We had what we called a Smoker's Connecticut. So we were kind of innovative in that aspect before the boom. I mean, us and Roma Craft, our first show was in 2011.
No
and
shit.
we were actually side by side, which
Oh,
was
wow.
which was pretty cool. So yeah, as we grew and demand became higher, events and people started buying a lot of product to get Lou. Lou kind of stopped showing up. He was, a little more worried about kind of the lifestyle.
Right.
And at that point for me it had become a job and pretty serious. And so I kind of saw that the walls were kind of closing down a little bit. So he bought me out of
No
my
shit.
equity stake, and I took a year off.
Yeah.
And then landed at General. But
I wonder if I can get my brother to buy me out. That'd be awesome. So yeah, well, hey man, I mean, it worked out pretty well for you then. You wound up at a pretty good place.
Yeah.
I mean, what says Cigar Rights of America? What did you do with Cigar Rights of America?
so during the year that I took off, I was an ambassador for Cigar Rights of America.
Okay.
And actually the year prior to that too. So
What kind of level of abuse was was
man,
that like?
it was brutal, but I did work it to our advantage though. So we never had enough money nor the desire to advertise with Cigar Aficionado. So we never got invited to things like Big Smoke, obviously. Well, Glenn Loop was like, every year we take our top CRA ambassador to both Big Smokes. And he was like, if you happen to do it, you can pass out Lou Rodriguez cigars at our CRA booth at Big Smoke. So in 2013 and 2014, I signed up more people for Cigar Rights of America than any other ambassador in the country.
No shit.
And so for 2 years straight, we had Lou Rodriguez cigars at Big Smoke New York and Big Smoke Las Vegas.
Fucking A, man. Good for you.
So you sign up for a year, you get a cigar. You sign up for 3, you get 2. It was a good way to get our product out there.
No shit.
Yeah.
Well, good for you, man. So, I mean, you're obviously, you're not just a pretty face.
That's That's what I tell my girlfriend all the time.
Still girlfriend, huh?
I see. It was too early. I shouldn't have brought her up already. I didn't tell her I was going to be on the podcast. So.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Fair enough. I'll let that die there then. You were homeschooled?
I was. Man. Good
I
Lord.
did
Somebody
my
My
research.
producer doesn't fuck
Man,
around.
Do my research.
This is cool. Yeah, I've never got that question. So come from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg, military family, and my mother was a teacher. So when I was coming up, the school option in the part of town we were living in, because my father was starting a business, was not really where you'd want your kid to go to school.
Right.
Even though I was a pretty big kid and thought I could handle myself, my mom was like, "Yeah, no, you're not." So she homeschooled my sister and I up until 8th grade basically. So yeah,
shit.
It was, but. There's a stigma out there with homeschoolers for sure, and a lot of times that's correct. But in Cumberland County, where I'm from, because of the military base, we had 2,500 homeschoolers in the county.
Wow.
So we would do stuff like Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays.
Everybody
We'd have
get together.
tutors, and we'd have science tutors, math tutors, things like that. So I was fortunate that one, my mother probably knew she didn't want to be around us every day, all day.
Right.
But that we had tutors come in and teach us, some pretty essential things.
That's cool.
So yeah, it was kind of like a good little social group there.
So when you get to high school, did you find that you were ahead of the regular high school kids?
I would say so, just because again, when you're one teacher teaching to 30, 40 kids maybe, and everybody learns at a different pace.
Right.
I was able to get that one-on-one attention, whether it was with my mother or a tutor.
Right.
And we did standardized testing at the end of the year to kind of gauge where you were.
Oh, wow.
But again, if you've got one teacher, 2 students, those 2 students are always going to come out
Right.
ahead
Right,
of the majority there.
There's no hiding in the back of the classroom.
No, but I was really into sports. So I played baseball, basketball, football.
In homeschool or outside it?
So the cool thing in Cumberland County,
your sister.
if your school, quote unquote, didn't offer a sport, you could play at whatever school offered the sport closest
shit.
to you.
Oh, wow.
So like in 8th grade, I was playing varsity basketball and baseball for an academy there in town. And then as that shifted, I went and played football and baseball at a public school. So
That's
I
cool.
kind of got the best of both worlds there.
Yeah,
it
because
sounds
I think that sometimes the downfall of homeschooling is you always have the question of, will your kid be socially inept? You know what I mean? Like
Right.
when you went back into high school, that was going to be my next question. Was that a struggle for you? Was it like hanging out, making friends and shit like that? But if you're doing sports and shit,
He already had friends.
yeah, you're already kind of, you're kind of used to that as well.
Yeah, I think I was kind of the exception with
Right.
that. I come from a big family, very social, vocal family. My parents were involved in the community, so it was I was used to being around
A lot of people.
and I did things like public speaking and things like that.
No shit.
So it was definitely a little easier for me than some. Now we did have those kids that when they came out, of the house, they couldn't make eye contact and
Right.
a little odd. So I didn't really hang out with those kids a whole lot.
Right.
But sports was a big kind of gateway to that
Right.
social thing. And again, when you're a jock and you're kind of big, there's not a lot of anxiety when it comes to like fitting
Right.
in and stuff.
Yeah, you
So,
feel comfortable already.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to meet J. Cole though because you didn't go to middle school. and
Man,
shit.
it's funny. Everybody asked me that. now.
Well, that's the only that's Fayetteville.
and he went to. So I think he's a little bit younger than me, maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But his high school, E. Smith, we absolutely would beat the brakes off of in baseball and basketball.
No shit.
So I'm sure our paths crossed before he was J. Cole.
Right.
Never met him.
I like to think that you fucked him up in some kind of sport. So yeah,
He does still play in a rec league there, though.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, he's fucking talented. He's like one of the best rappers in my opinion, like top 5. No joke.
He is. He put Fayetteville on the map.
Yeah.
So.
And Mike Palmer, he agrees. He's a big
I have
J.
no idea.
I believe it.
He's a big J.
No
Cole fan.
idea.
All right, so so do you get to? So what kind of factories do you get to fuck with? I mean, obviously you have access to AJ Fernandez. We kind of brought that up already, but what else you get to do when you get to the epicenter of the cigar world, Esteli, Nicaragua.
So obviously, I spend the most time with our Nicaraguan factory,
Right.
And then I would say probably the Dominican and Honduras would be a close second,
Right.
But as far as like our friendly competitors, I guess you could say, like AJ. I mean, AJ, I would like to think of as almost an extension of our factory,
Right.
Because we do so much with him in so many brands. So he's who I've worked with the most. I have been able to do some stuff with Plasencia. I've been able to do some stuff with, I've talked to guys like Justo Aurora and things like that. I think that's.
I mean, you just named like the fucking biggest ones.
Yeah.
Right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, those. And we're such a big company that we try to keep as much production as we can
Right.
in-house, but we do have like strategic partners, guys like Plasencia and AJ.
That's cool. So who gets to decide the blends for Diesel?
That'd be me.
That's you.
Yeah.
You don't like, hey, this is the cigar. I like it. Nobody else says, well, I want to fucking taste it. Nothing.
No.
You're the guy.
That's it.
That's
It's-
awesome.
That's pretty
man.
cool.
Yes, well, originally when Michael Giannini hired me, I didn't have a title or anything. I was just the tobacco guy. So I was fortunate with Lou Rodriguez that I got to go spend, sometimes 15, 20 days down in Nicaragua, and I would just live at the factory.
That's tough.
And it was tough, especially for a gringo that didn't speak a lot of Spanish.
Yeah, no shit.
So it was kind of trial by fire there.
Yeah.
And again, I don't like to throw that term, blender around
Right.
that often. I'm more of a cigar whisperer. Like I'll kind of whisper to AJ, hey, what if we do this? What if we do that? But as far as the final say-so and final approval of a blend, that relies solely on me with the brands. And our other brand managers have that ability too. A lot of times they don't take advantage of it just because, we have experts down in the factory and
Right.
stuff like that. But typically with AJ, he'll send me, a couple bundles and it'll be kind of like, hey, you need to pick this one. And there's been a lot of times where I've gone back and been like, bro, this isn't really what I was looking for.
Right.
And then he tells me I don't know tobacco. I tell him he doesn't know the
about
American
right.
consumer, know.
Right.
And we go back and forth. But fortunately, he and I usually land on the same thing. He's the genius, but I'm the one that's got to sign the check. So
Right.
it's
That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so well, man, my next question was gonna be how do you decide the blend, but you kind of fucking said that too. I mean, I guess the unique part is for you, you have to produce a lot of cigars, right? And that's kind of where it gets difficult, And I got to give you kudos. I think you're doing a good job in what you're doing. So, how do you kind of determine? I mean, let me ask you, how many do you averagely have to produce? Like, or as far as quantity, if you don't mind giving that information, and does that affect your overall blend at all?
Typically no. So I'll give you a couple examples. So like if you look at some of the original Diesel stuff that I wasn't involved in, like, original, Unlimited, Heart of Darkness, things like that.
Right.
Those are, I would say, as typical as any everyday blend that we make at Punch or we make it at Partagas. And all those are well in the millions of cigars produced a year. With a brand like Whiskey Row, now that's where the challenge came in because I had to kind of predict a forecast to determine how many barrels we needed. And that's where it gets really tricky. And we were out of stock last year for almost 6 months. And obviously it sold well beyond any of our expectations.
Right.
But that's where Whiskey Row is really unique when it comes to the blending process because AJ and I had both never aged anything in a bourbon barrel or a sherry cask barrel. So that was a huge learning experience. But overall, Diesel, without getting into specifics, when somebody asks you, what's one of the best boutique brands out there as far as like distribution and awareness, I would argue that Diesel probably sells more cigars than those people.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, if you look at the machine that is Cigar International,
Right.
and when they started it going direct to consumer, that's a huge leg up when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So now that we've got the best of both, we've got distribution at retail, and I'm very hard on the price protection and making it a level playing field.
Right.
But I reap the rewards of having a brand that's been around for 10 years that a lot of people knew. So it's been good, and retailers have been happy too, because, again, as much as we promote and as much as we advertise and create shelf talkers for a retailer, it's nice to have somebody walk in the door and go, oh yeah, Diesel, I know Diesel,
right?
And now I can buy it from you,
right?
So that's been a big benefit.
Yeah, I mean,
All right, let's stop for a break real quick.
Okay.
For 25 minutes, so just so it doesn't go off in the middle of a question.
right.
All right, we'll be right back. Okay, we're back
Hey, whew.
with Justin Andrews from Diesel Cigars.
Who?
That was quite the big break.
Well, we have the camera problems.
Right. Well, so for me, I think your cigars are really good, but the big deciding factor for me was when we fucking kind of hung out in Esteli, dude. And that was just kind of the fit. Do I ever I have my shop obviously is a hybrid of two, right? Because we have online as well as in store, which I think that a lot of retailers should be doing at this point.
Yeah.
So for me, do I ever think that I'll be able to move a tremendous amount of Diesel online? The answer is no. That consumer, that whole thing has already kind of been mapped out, right? I'm 10 years behind that game. So I don't ever look for it to be like a gigantic mover in online, but it does do really well in the store, and you got some cool shit going on, man. I mean, how did you come up with the concept of giving away a fucking bar?
Yeah. I first, I appreciate you saying that, and it, again, it's not just lip service. Like I do get passionate about it because, for 10 years it's been my life, and so to get the opportunity to take a brand like Diesel, I did take it very seriously, and I mean, we joke, but I'm not married, I don't have kids
yet,
and as a and as a washed up former athlete, I was so used to zoning in and just live, eat, and breathe it,
right,
that I've kind of transferred that into cigars. So no, I appreciate you saying that, because it's been, I got to tell you, 3 years ago when I'm presenting these ideas to our VPs and board of directors, and they're looking at me like, who hired this kid?
Right.
What the fuck is he? I was like, yeah, this isn't going to work. Fortunately for me, it has worked.
Right.
So now I get a little bit of credibility and can kind of stroll up and down the halls like I'm somebody.
Right.
Which they quickly, knock me back.
Yeah, they like to shit all
Get
over
us some
you.
coffee, kid. Be quiet.
Yeah, by the way, good
Yeah.
for you. Diesel was here before you, pal.
Yeah. So the bar idea is pretty cool, and I actually have to give credit to a kid who works for us, Matt Davenport, and he was actually worked in retail for about 6 years during college and after. This kid is so dedicated to cigars that he got a golf scholarship to Christopher Newport University in Hampton, Virginia, and his junior year they made the team take a tobacco-free pledge.
No shit.
And he wouldn't fucking sign it, and so they kicked him off the team.
Wow.
So this kid is legit, and he's kind of like the do-it-all guy for our company. He's the liaison between the sales team, marketing. He's a really bright kid. So I said all that to say, when I'm going through this process of developing Whiskey Row, and when I discovered that we had the trademark Whiskey Row, and my buddy Cave was starting a bourbon company, all this stuff was coming together, and I was talking to Matt. I said, Matt, I'm tired of doing the same shit over and over. I'm tired of getting hats. I'm tired of getting cutters and all this stuff. And if somebody comes to a Diesel event on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, the odds are they've already got the Drew Estate hat. They've got the cutter. So I was like, what can I do to kind of create items that go with this bourbon theme? And so that's when I started working on the bourbon barrel lighters, bourbon barrel ashtrays, things like that. And I was like, but we're missing the big grand prize. I was looking at humidors and humidors made out of, bourbon barrels. And I was like, it's almost like a bar theme is what I'm going for. And Matt goes, why don't we just build a bar?
No shit.
And just like that.
Wow.
And I was like, no shit, man. And it was funny because I was just at I don't know, Pottery Barn or something. And I saw these, people have in their houses, these bars where you keep your booze and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, what a great fucking idea. You walk into a shop, there's a bar there. You can win that bar,
right?
Along with the barrel ashtrays and the lighters and things. And so we just started developing it, and then it was like, man, I'm tired of people that don't smoke cigars stealing all my good stuff out of my humidors. I was like, let's put a humidor inside of it, and let's put a little trap door,
right?
And again, this whole time, there's guys, I won't mention their names, but they're pretty high up in our company. They're like, this is stupid. This will never. How are we going to ship it?
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
Logistically,
it's a nightmare.
How are you going to build it?
And whose wife is going to let them have a bar? And I'm just like, oh my god, So we only made 100 of them, but bro, I'm telling you, it has gotten us in the door at places where retailers typically just would have never even given us a shot.
Right.
And it was kind of my way of saying, look, I know for 10 years this brand probably has not been something you've been a fan of.
Right.
And you're not a fan of Cigar International.
Right.
Let me kind of meet you halfway. Let me show you,
right.
that we're in this to support the retailers. And it's not like I'm making a profit on these things.
Right.
They were not cheap to make, but it was kind of a goodwill thing of, hey, not only are we going to give you a really good cigar, which I think I don't have to give anything away to sell this cigar, but here's just a little something extra to drive trial and awareness.
It's an attention grabber, man, for sure. For sure. All right, so, like you said before, you're kind of an athlete, right? So you can handle yourself pretty well. Do you think that you would win in a fight against Jack Tarano? Or, if it went down and it was fucking serious,
I don't know. Jack's got me. I don't know who's taller. I'm 6'2".
Yeah.
Well, I was when I was at my MLB combine.
Right.
I probably shrunk.
I was at my peak.
Yeah. I think Jack's got me on height and probably some lbs there.
Yeah, but he's a little older.
He's a little heavy on reach too. He's got those giant arms.
I don't know if Jack can throw hands anymore, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You've got to have him on speed.
He seems pretty passive, but I feel like if I sat him down, I'm like, yo, Justin said he'd fucking kick your ass. He's like, you know what, I can take it.
You know what? I think every Cuban has a little streak in him to where they can, even if Jack is pretty passive and cool.
Right.
I think if you got him pissed off, he could bring some pain.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he told that story on the show about the guy he beat up at the movie theater.
Oh yeah. Well, he didn't beat him up.
No, he was going to.
He was ready.
He was ready to
fucking kick his ass.
The guy backed down.
Yeah.
Jack stood up and he went, "Oh, I'm sorry."
A Cuban from Miami that lived in Chicago. And I'm sure Jack's got some stories.
He'd probably be scrappy. Yeah.
But I'm about 30 years younger than he is, though.
Yeah.
So
you can take it. You can take it. So we're gonna make that happen for our next event. Jack Tarano versus Justin. Do you want to ask the 5 questions? Do you have those?
Oh yes, I do. I mounted them on the computers from last
Nicely done.
Yes.
Okay, so
we have 5 questions we ask everybody who's on the show.
Okay.
Same 5 questions. Okay, so the first question is, what one person, living or dead, would you like to share a cigar with?
Oh, good question. I'm a big Tiger Woods guy.
yeah,
And I know he doesn't smoke.
no
but I
shit.
think- yeah,
just bangs horse.
pretty much. I mean,
Bangs anyway.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not yet.
anymore. He's
He's done with the pills.
Allegedly.
I'm sure him and his new girl have an arrangement. I think. I'm
It's like,
I'm
hey,
pretty-
listen, I'm going to
On
step
the
out to the
road.
bar every once in a while.
Things happen every once in a while at Waffle House.
But I'm
so.
going to fucking Uber, so.
But yeah, I always go back between him and, as a North Carolina boy, Michael Jordan, obviously.
Right.
So yeah, either Tiger or Michael, probably.
Those are great answers.
They are great answers.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Okay, what one fictional character would you like to share a cigar with?
Ooh.
Fictional.
Somebody from a movie or a book or
TV show.
TV show?
Dirk Diggler.
Dirk Diggler.
Jack Tarano in his prime?
Fictional. See, I'm a big Seinfeld guy, but you can't really consider that fictional because that was a show based on his life. What about, Rambo's out this weekend? What about fucking Rambo?
Yeah,
Have a cigar with
that'd be
Rambo.
dope.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool, I think.
I mean, you might not. If it's Rambo 1, you might not get out of there alive. You might think that you're, he might have flashbacks and go fucking.
And
ape shit.
Sly's a big cigar smoker.
Yep.
Is he?
Oh,
Yeah,
big time.
oh, yeah.
He's a member of Grand Havana Room there.
Oh,
and
yeah,
he
of
is,
course.
He is in there, from what I've heard, when he's in town, he's in there every day.
But does he like smoke Cubans? Because I feel like that shit doesn't count.
He smoked So here's the reason I know that he's a big cigar smoker. In New Orleans, Crescent City, Armando sent me a picture years ago of him and Sylvester smoking Lou Rodriguez cigars. So we were Armando was a big account for us. He's a big boutique guy, and he sent us a picture one day, and it's him and Sly with the fist up, and they're both smoking.
Oh, that's
our
pretty
Maduro.
dope.
So he's got some good taste.
Nice.
So, I mean, I don't know if I can tell the story or not, but I know that an actor reached out to Skip and said, "Hey, your cigars are really badass." I'll have to ask him if I can mention the
I
name
think
and
we've
shit.
talked about that before or not.
George Clooney reached out to us for the Amazon Basin.
No shit.
Sure did. His agent.
Mike's a huge fan of his tequila.
I am.
Oh, yeah.
It's not his tequila anymore.
Oh, that's true, but he did start
Fuck
the company.
yeah, Casamigos is the shit.
And he needed another, whatever his cut was, $250 million or whatever he got.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, it is good tequila, though.
Hey, good for him. Fucking A. Go ahead.
All right, what's your favorite cigar, Justin?
My favorite cigar, no bullshit, I smoke it every day, is the original Whiskey Row. And again, people are always like, yeah, okay, that's bullshit. And I'm like, if you had the ability to blend a cigar, would you not blend it to your profile?
I agree.
And I'm like, I busted my
exactly.
ass for a year and a half on this blend.
Right.
Like, obviously, it's going to be what I like.
Right.
So, I mean, as far as my everyday smoke, it's that. I smoke, I was telling Eric the other day, I smoke probably a crema every morning with a cup of coffee
No
here
shit.
recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because it's, I like Connecticut's with a little bit of a kick.
Right.
Kind of ease me into the day.
The Espinosa.
Yeah, the Espinosa. And then
And it just feels good because, you had to fire Jack and shit.
that, it's I feel a little guilty, so I got to support him a little bit.
I like to sit back and reminisce. And
Yeah.
Right. Hey,
time I
Jack,
got to fire Jack
I
Turan,
still love you. Look, I'm supporting you. I'm supporting you.
That's right.
Guilt, a guilt cigar
That's
first
awesome.
thing in the morning. What's the best piece of advice anyone ever gave you?
It's funny. The same guy, Alex Svensson, told me, and a lot of people don't know who he is, but he is hands down the most powerful guy in our industry.
Yeah. Nobody knows who he is.
Without a doubt. And he told me, and I was like, Alex, Jonathan Drew's running up to you, Jorge Padron's running up to you, Carlitos, but none of these retailers know who you are. None
Right.
of these consumers know.
Right.
And he said, he's like, you can get a lot accomplished when you're not worried about who gets the credit. And I think that's an old Ronald Reagan quote.
Right.
But that kind of stuck with me with a lot. And
No, that's very true.
yeah, and I do a lot of stuff with other brands too within our portfolio, and people ask me, "Oh, did you do this or do that?" And it doesn't matter because again, it's good for the team, it's good
Right.
for the whole. But if you really kind of remove yourself from that, and all of us have an ego, all of us want a little bit of appreciation for what we do. But if you kind of remove that and just go at the task at hand, you can really get a lot accomplished.
Right.
So that's more recent advice, but I that's stuck with me.
So I saw him at IBCPR, and I didn't fully understand why the hell he was there. I was like, what are you doing here? And he's like, are you kidding me? How could I not be here? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I know that you handle fucking all of it, but
Yeah.
I didn't think that you'd have to be at the show.
Yeah. So
you
yeah,
thought he was above that?
No,
Or
I just
or
didn't
just
think
something he would do. Because like you said, retailers don't know who he is. So
No, but vendors. But
Right.
Yeah.
So he meets with anybody from Zycar to Lotus to the companies that we make cigars for. I mean, he's a busy guy at the show.
What's kind of funny too is what he gave me when I was talking to him, he had the look of I don't know who the fuck this guy is. So, who are you gonna ask?
who is he for the listening audience? They don't know who he is.
So he was one of the original founders of Cigar.com, which later turned into Cigar International.
Oh, wow.
This is a guy who, at 13 and 14, would save his lunch money to go buy cigars.
Right.
So he's a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Big dude, 6'5", 350, super bright. But at one point, he controlled all of the purchasing for Cigar International,
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's a big
Scandinavian
deal.
Tobacco
Big deal.
Group.
Yeah.
But he was able to, again, he was able 20 years ago to get with guys like Jonathan Drew and develop an acid cigar that was exclusive for CI, to
Right.
get with Rocky and create. So he was able to develop those relationships. And so for a guy like me, when, I want to talk to Jonathan Drew about something. Boom, he's the guy I go to.
Right.
When I took a tour of the Padron factory, which not a lot of people get to do, he was the guy.
Right.
So he's, but he probably wouldn't even like that I'm saying this, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But he's definitely a behind the scenes guy. I mean, tobacco knowledge is
Crazy.
through the roof.
I mean, the guy was, if you like, I can only tell you what Esteli has been like for the past 10 years, and I can see the growth and development. Like the past few years when I've gone back down, I'm like, holy shit, we have 5G, or not 5G,
Yeah.
but it's like
There's internet.
we have data access,
Right.
on our phones. Wow, he's one of those guys that was there when there was fucking nothing.
Right.
He discovered AJ Fernandez as well.
Oh,
so
wow.
he gave him his first shot with a Cigar International cigar.
There
So
you go.
yeah.
Wow. Last question is, you want to tell people how to get a hold of you, your social media, email? Don't give out your phone number. People will call you.
Obviously, you can, I've got dieselcigars.com. It's got my information on there. We've got Diesel Cigars on Facebook, Instagram. And then usually you just type in my name, Justin Andrews, Diesel, and it'll pop up. I think I still have my handle from college, so it's like Just in Time 11. So
Nice.
Super professional. But
That's the way to do it, man.
I'm consistent, I don't like to change a whole lot. So it's, but yeah, I'm out there. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all over the place.
I think when you go into that formal kind of introduction, you lose something. Like people don't get really to understand who you kind of are when you just leave it like blank at Justin Andrews,
Right.
at Slapdick117 or something like that. So yeah. Well, that pretty much concludes it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it was a great show.
that
Thank
was,
you,
that was
Justin.
quick and painless.
Right? It was
It
easy.
was.
That
It
was-
went by fast.
yeah.
Man, it's
Okay.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Boom.
Man, I really enjoyed that. Those were good questions
It's
too.
almost like as if we know what the fuck we're
Dude,
doing.
seriously,
It's so
man.
crazy.
I mean, Jack kind of set the bar pretty low for this. He
Yeah,
told
I
me
know.
not to expect a whole lot.
yeah,
so.
he talked it down, I'm sure.
he said your partner here would be late. So
yeah, he said he would be on
I was
time.
here waiting. I think the
But-
first time Jack did the show, we had the tiny table,
Oh, yeah.
no video.
Oh, we're way more professional now.
Oh, yeah.
We're 2 years deep. And we're not making a fucking penny, but, hey, fucking A.
it's all for the love of cigars. But no, thanks for having me. This was fun.
Yeah,
you
man.
bet.
I appreciate the unique questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets a little redundant. I get
Right.
tired of hearing
Yeah.
myself talk. So
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, we want to learn about you not going to being stay-at-home fucking school and shit,
Right. That's
Dude,
very,
really
very
fucking-
interesting.
The producer's a fucking
All right.
he's a mad scientist.
You guys got cigars to sell out there.
Yeah, we gotta
Yeah.
go. We gotta go do an event. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fucking Z-Man thing though.
Well, we'll do it for our regular show next week.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because we'd have to take another break.
We can do more research then, and
Yeah,
we can figure out what he says, and
There you
then
go.
we can contradict both.
have you guys seen the Steve Harvey skit about Willie Turner
No.
getting
No.
fired? Do yourself a favor and watch that, because that reminded me of that.
Really?
Basically, it's how different people get fired or handle getting fired differently.
Okay.
I made a mistake and told our VP of HR that would be me one day if they ever tried to fire me. That was probably not my brightest moment, but thankfully he had a sense of humor. But yeah, look that up. It'll shed some light on that situation probably.
All right, cool. Well, again, dude, thanks so much for
Yeah,
coming
thank
out.
you,
I mean,
Justin.
I know that's
Appreciate it.
not easy. You were all the way in California, came all the way here to Florida. You know, sales rep was sick and dying, so we had to figure out a few things, but you still made it. And I appreciate everything you do. I also appreciate the ride home from Esteli to the airport, and that was really nice of you. So
That was an adventure too, man.
we got pulled off on the side of the road. The car overheated because did I ever tell you the story?
No.
So,
I've
and
heard about get pulled over, but not because the car overheated.
Yeah, so the car just kind of died, and the problem is that in Esteli, when it comes to adding fluid, you just fucking add as much fluid as possible and not even think about it. So the transmission fluid was overfilled and it heated up, so it just stopped working. It just shut the fucking car down. Thank God Hector understood that, which was way out of left field because I wouldn't. I'm like, oh, we're fucked.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. We're,
Like I thought for
Started hiking through the
sure
jungle.
we weren't in the best spot. You know what I mean? It's like this is not fucking
Yeah,
good.
that's the first time that I've ever had an incident like that happen where I didn't either have to pay the cop for
Right.
protection or got robbed.
Right.
I mean, every single. So I was just like, well, here it comes. Like this is.
Right.
So I always
They're
keep like
coming out of the
$20 in my
jungle
pocket
anyway.
because you got to give them something.
This is where we lose our shit.
Yeah. So no, we were pretty fortunate in that situation.
Yeah.
But
Car cooled down, started right up. I'm like, fuck yeah.
But
we got to the airport. I'm like, hey, listen, you're on your own now, pal.
Appreciate the ride, but I'm out of here.
Yeah, that was good shit.
yeah, anytime you want to go back, man.
Have fucking A, man. Well, this coming up year, I probably won't be going. My brother will probably go. Because I got a baby on the way.
You got a baby coming.
Oh, congrats.
So, yeah, she'll be here end of December. And I usually go first part of the year.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it all depends.
Yeah.
You know, I want to go. I like to go. I like to be involved with every aspect of it and bullshit with Skip. And Skip will give me a hard time when I fall asleep on the patio. But, if I can't, Greg will be the substitute. So
I see Skip more in Nicaragua than I do in the States. So it's, but it is, man. That's honestly, that's my favorite part of the job is kind of go down there, get recentered. You don't got to worry about the phone all day, every day.
Right.
And I mean, even for us as the big evil empire, as Skip likes to call us, when you go down there and you go down there and meet our people, I mean, again, to them, this is their livelihood, and they're just as passionate as any other cigar roller or buncher. So it's cool to kind of go back and get that perspective.
Absolutely.
But when I tell these stories about, getting detained at the border or robbed on the side, people are like, why do you still go there?
Because it happens.
Yeah. But it's all part of the culture. It's part of the fun.
It's part of the game, man. You got to do it, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, that's it then.
That's it.
All right.
See you later.